This is my 6-speed ACURA TL, and in this series, I plan to get it back on the road, running, driving better than it has ever before. A little bit of backstory on this car. This is, like I said, a 6-speed ACURA TL, so came with the manual transmission, and with that package you get Brembo brakes. I bought this car running, driving. I blew the head gasket, so ended up tearing that apart, doing all the reseals. It already had the previous timing done at whatever mileage it's supposed to be done at, but I'm at the point now where I should probably just put on another timing belt just to be safe, because this tensioner is already pretty far out. But my main focus is just to get this in the engine bay. Obviously, I'm not too worried about painting in all that. You see stuff everywhere, but I plan to paint this car Moroccan red again, but I just don't feel like tearing the whole engine bay apart just to paint it same color. Call me lazy, but it's also not a balls of the wall build. I plan to do this somewhat in a budget way, so trying to do this as cheap as I can, but also it's going to be my daily, so I want it to last. So I know these are known to leak out of the rack and pinion. Bought one, but I'll cross the road when I come to it, because again, I don't feel like tearing that apart, because I also need to do a clutch too, but it'll last long enough to get me farther. First things first, we got to go to the parts store and get my timing belt, possibly pick up another couple parts. I was thinking about painting the valve covers, just because make it look a little bit more pretty. Plus they're the ugly gray, and it already has a, I believe this is a 3.7 intake manifold on it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. If anybody's doing this at home, obviously you want to line up the tooth on this side with the line here, and then same thing with the teeth over here. And then for the crank pulley, you want to line it up the little arrow right there, if you can see, with that arrow, and then you'll be good to go. Alright, well, I got the belt on. Fought with that way more than I had to on any other one. I'm basically dripping sweat, but that one, it seems like it's off, but it's the closest tooth I could get with every other one. I've noticed that when I've done other ACURAs where it seems like it's off a little bit, but it's ran fine, so I'm gonna send it, because it's not that hard to take off if it's a tooth off. Alright, I got some A Premium motor mounts and all the mounts that you need. I'm not sponsored, but they're pretty cheap. They seem pretty good, much better than they were. I'll start a clip here. Alright, all the motor mounts are in. Come on, power steering leaking for like the 100th time. Alright, it's a new day. I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that the teeth didn't seem to line up, so today I pulled apart everything again, and for another 30 minutes probably I spent lining it up. I don't know why it decided to be so hard this time, but as you can see, that arrow lines up that arrow pretty much perfect. And then same thing for that one, and then same as that one. So that's as best as it's getting. So hopefully we don't have valves banging pistons. Alright, I went ahead and got the valve covers off again. I decided, just since I'm already taking apart the timing again, to retime it and all that. I also ordered a clutch last night to kind of just do everything at once, so might as well actually follow through with the rest. So now we're gonna get to painting this. Alright, we got them all taped off. I don't plan for it to be perfect, just a little bit better than it was. But now we're going to shoot it with some primer and then paint. Primer is on. It's not coming out great, but it is what it is. That's all the primer I have. Wasn't even planning on doing this, so it's all good. It'll be red. That's what I'm going for. Alright, I'm going with Moroccan red pearl, just like the car. I wasn't really going to paint the car that. I was going to look for a deeper red, but Moroccan red's kind of cheap compared to the other colors, so maybe this will make me do it. Like I said, not great, but honestly came out better than I was expecting for the prep work and everything. We'll let that dry for a little bit and then we'll come back and clear coat it. Alright, they are all untaped. Unfortunately, they kind of pulled up the tape for some of them, but the coil packs will cover that. But honestly, they came out pretty decent. I'm not even terribly mad at it, especially with the tape job. It just kind of brings out the silver a little bit, but this is going to be the rear one, so this is honestly the one that has more imperfections, like down in the grooves where there's obviously flakes of stuff. But this one, still not perfect, but like there, you can see that. But like overall, especially at a glance, they would look pretty good, especially with the color of the car when it's all one. So alright, it's a completely different week. I got the valve covers painted, as you saw. I'm going ahead and painting the top piece of the intake as well. I ordered a clutch for it, so might as well get to that while I'm doing everything else. This is becoming a very while you're in there project, but I have this very ghetto setup just to get this done by myself. So might be ghetto, but it's also called making it work. So I'm gonna start pulling the trans off to get this clutch in. All right, probably not even 10 minutes later, transmission's out. See the clutch and all that. It was honestly not even a bad clutch. They would slip a little bit when I would put it in the third going really hard, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, so I'm going to replace it. So I just got a Luck clutch, which I think are basically, besides the actual Excetti brand is the best you could get, besides going aftermarket, but this car isn't going to be going doing anything crazy yet, at least, so a Luck clutch would be fine. So I'm going to start pulling this off. Alright, just kidding. The bolts on the flywheel are a 10mm 12 point, and I only have a 12mm 12 point. You'd be like, oh, just go to the parts store and get one. Well, the parts store had nothing that small, so now I'm gonna have to go to a different parts store and hope they have it, because that's where I got my other weird size sockets. But yeah, I guess I'll be doing that another day because I don't feel like driving anymore. So see you then. All right, another day. I got that socket, pulled off the pressure plate. Pretty toasty, a lot of hot spots and everything, scoring even. It looks like, I forgot this clutch was actually changed before, but you see it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just, I'm pretty much just replacing with the same clutch. That's pretty unfortunate, but we'll make that work. Alright, went ahead and cleaned up the flywheel a little bit. Still looks pretty horrible, but is it going to chatter and make all types of issues? Possibility. Do I care and I'm willing to take that chance? Yes. So we're gonna run it.
My body work's done. So let's get to the mechanicals. But now they're good, and I hope the intake doesn't leak.
I gotta have this. It's almost like it's measured.
A little bit, and it made it so it never started again. Hopefully we can get it back.
Yay, woo, finally, Jesus. Right, I think it is finally good and all back together now and ready to go into the car. I got the clutch on, the transmission on, everything is all squared away there. Pretty sure the motor's all good to go, besides the cam sensor, which I'll figure out when it's in the car. But let me tell you, I am so glad I decided to stick with painting and tear everything down again to paint the valve covers, and I even paint matched the top here because it just looks much better, much more like eye candy rather than just like a basic motor, which obviously it's still dirty. There's still obviously it's a 190,000 mile motor, so it's still gonna look like it, but it's at least ready. Don't mind the uneven or mismatched cool pack, but I think it's finally ready to go into the car. But I think I want to do the last little push and do the power steering rack, just because they're known for it, so we'll get to that. I'm not putting a power steering rack in. A couple weeks I've been going back and forth depending on whether to put one in or whether not to. They're known to leak, but this one wasn't, and I think I'm just gonna cry about it later when it leaks, because one, I didn't want to do it, but I was just gonna go through and do it, but two, I just put this mount on, and for whatever reason I had the issue with this bolt breaking off when I first took the old mount off, but now specifically that corner wants to act like it's been in for 39 million years. So I don't want to have two bolts, and I don't want to pull out the other broken ones. So yeah, we're gonna run it. That means it is time to put the motor and transmission in. So now let's get to the fun part you've all been waiting for. After about 10 months of being out of the car and probably close to a year of the car being down, the motor is finally in its home, in its mounts. A little side note, if you go with the A Premium mounts like I did, I would say all the mounts are pretty good. I didn't use the ones for the subframe or anything like that, but the only issue I encountered with them is the lower trans mount doesn't line up. I don't know if I got the wrong ones or something like that. All the other mounts lined up besides that one, so just keep in mind with that. But all of them seem pretty good. Like they're all, you can see where you, like they all line up, they all bolt in. Obviously there was just one, but see, here's one, works fine. That's the other one. And then the rear, even the little bracket things line up. So I'm super happy to have this in. It's been a while, so that's pretty much the hard part now. Probably tomorrow I'll get the axles in and all the other stuff. All right, well, that last clip was hours ago now. Since then, I went ahead and got a lot of stuff bolted up and everything. I think the only thing that really needs to be together now is the axles, the starter, and a couple other odds and ends. So I'm ready to go to bed, but we'll be back at this tomorrow. All right, it's a new day yet again, and I've buttoned up a little bit more stuff, but realistically, as much as I want to be, this car is just not going to be running at the end of this video. There's just too much little things that nickel and dime you at the end, like fluids and a cam sensor that I need. So unfortunately, that'll be for our next video. But I got the shifter linkage all on and all that. I got some things in place, not fully buttoned up and tightened, like the intake, and again, I gotta do like power steering. I got the condenser in, even though I don't even think it works, but I need to do the radiator. I gotta fill it with oil, new oil filter, so cam sensor to put the cover back on. So it's just a lot of little things that it's just realistic, and even a battery, but it's just not going to be running even though I want it to be. So this is how she sits for now. Much more progress than has been made in months, so I can't even be mad at that. I'm not a several part leading on to the next video kind of person. I hate when people do that, but sometimes it is what it is. So yeah, if you want to follow along, next video I'm gonna have it all running, everything. That's the ultimate goal of that video. I'll have some goodies to put on it, like those. Obviously I have the rears as well, but if you're interested, subscribe, follow along for more. Appreciate you watching.